filmmaker that we've all loved for a very long time is Ridley Scott. You think about what Ridley Scott has done. He did Alien.
Yep.
And Blade Runner. And
so many iconic films. Oh my God.
Yeah, amazing visual filmmaker and really great with the storytelling. And he made a movie which I didn't think I was going to like as much as I liked, but Gladiator. You know, it seems like it would be at the time when it came out. You know, it was one of those sort of, you know, period dramas, of course, of ancient times, you know, Roman times, which is really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
But I thought, it's going to be a Hollywoody version of it. But there was a lot of insight and really like beautiful and inspiring and terrifying and great moments in it.
That's right. And, you know, it's also Russell Crowe, like his peak, like cool factor. And I went to Rome and I couldn't stop thinking about that movie, just looking at the Colosseum and going around all the ancient landmarks. And you're just thinking the whole time, I'm just reliving. And that's the kind of movie that really sinks in because they did such a great job producing it. And it was kind of the iconic Gladiator film. It's hard to top it. So now we have Gladiator. So Gladiator 2. So we got all this Gladiator stuff happening right now. So it's kind of interesting. And I don't really know what the time frame is in this new one. I guess we'll know when we look at it. Like, is this after the Russell Crowe? Is it before Russell Crowe time frame? Like, I'm not even sure, but I guess we'll see. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. It's the first movie, I thought one of the things that I really liked about it was how insightful it was about history. I mean, it was not, you know, historically completely 100% accurate.
Right.
You know, I'm pretty sure they didn't speak English back then.
You take liberties.
I'll have to look into that. I'll have to go through my history books.
Yeah, they probably didn't speak English, I'm guessing.
But otherwise, I mean, they at least tried to put some things in there that kind of hinted at the times. Like I love the stuff about religion and the little statues, the little piece of the family. And then one character says, do you believe that they have got, you know, I can't remember the exact line, but he asks him about his beliefs. Do you believe that that they can still hear your prayers, you know, or something like that? And he says, yes. And he goes, almost like he's considering it, like, oh, that sounds interesting, because back then there was a lot of, you know, the religions were in flux so much that people would sort of, if a new religion came to their town, you know, and there's a lot of situations where people were like, oh, that sounds better than ours. Let's do that one instead.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
It didn't happen like that, but
didn't happen.
Kind of like that.
People coming to town. They're coming to town. Here we go. New beliefs. But
they have really cool iconography. Yeah, I like their symbolism and their artwork. Let's go over there.
Exactly. Let's take a look instead of guessing. Which you know, we don't look at these beforehand because we want to react to the actual marketing and see how it plays for us. So now we're going to check it for the very first time. We probably should watch it like 10 times to catch Easter eggs, but we're gonna watch it through. And then at the end, stay tuned. We're going to look at the poster that's out now, and we'll talk about the breakdown of that. In the meantime, let's take a look at the trailer. All right, here we go.
Hold on. I have to get my prop.
Here we go. Come on.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
And quiet on the set. Quiet. Everybody quiet. Ready. All right. And I
remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Where were you born?
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
Did you hear that crowd?
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Rome ever built.
Love him.
The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
General Cassius, there are victories yet still to come.
Rome has so many subjects. She must feed them.
They can eat war.
The arena turns slaves into gladiators, the gladiators into free men.
You have something in you. I knew it from the start.
Did you now?
Rage. That rage is your gift.
Oh boy. Oh no, this is no.
This is about survival!
No.
Survive! Hold together and when the charges break for the wall.
Whose head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
What?
The general will do.
Rome must fall. I need only give it a push.
We make it out alive. Alright. Hands on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors.
This ring
Maximus.
belonged to Maximus. Now I give it to you. What is the dream of Rome?
Blood stains.
If our people are not free.
Get the hell about your seats.
I was owned. Now I will control an empire.
I will not waste another generation of young men for their vanity.
Strength among us! This how Rome treats its heroes!
Hands on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors. The gods of
Whoa. That was cool.
It looks pretty wild. It looks like, I mean, full on war stuff. And
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess this looks like it's post Russell Crowe. Maximus is
Yeah.
Russell Crowe. So maybe there's a possibility, maybe teeny tiny, that maybe he's his son.
Or someone who was inspired by him, because it seems like he saw, the guy who took revenge on the Caesar, and Joaquin Phoenix, and was inspired by that. A man could do that,
Yeah, exactly.
I should get my revenge on Joaquin Phoenix.
I like I like how the it looked like they're almost like twins, like the two brothers, the royals look so terrible, like inbred and awful, like just super weak and just and then just like entertain me, and they just have no actual skill at anything. They just watch slaves fight, which is just awful. The rhino didn't like it, didn't like the rhino thing, didn't like, but there it is. It was
evidently they did that, and that whole scene where they filled it with water and they put the boats in there and had like boat battles reenactments in the middle of the Colosseum.
That's insane.
But it was the idea was, if you keep the people entertained, with reality television, and they'll believe that the people are actual heroes, and
that's right.
They believe that they are the character they play on the reality TV shows, and then they will go vote for them to be their leaders, and that's kind of the.
So it looks like Joseph Quinn, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
No, that seems like part of the, what the storyline kind of includes here a little bit, as long as as well as the idea of a guy rising up through the ranks to get his revenge on.
How far did these gladiators ever really go, though? Like in history, like I know they're slaves and they can become gladiators and they fight, and then they don't have to be slaves anymore, but aren't they always kind of slaves? And do they ever escape? Because it's kind of like you keep fighting till you die, basically. Do you ever get rewarded for that? Is there a way out for a slave who becomes a gladiator? I don't know if there actually is.
Yeah, I don't know too much about that.
Maybe history buffs. Let us know in the comments. Whatever happened to gladiators? Did they actually ever escape, or were they just 100% always a gladiator and then they were done?
Well, yeah, and you do it till you die. It's kind of like that's how you retire, maybe. But I think
that's how you retire. You die.
Yeah, it sounds like the entertainment industry. But the thing about that part of history, I've read a whole lot about ancient history, and I've been to Rome as well, and fascinated by that stuff. When you walk through those streets, like you were saying, you walk through the Forum, and then there's the Coliseum, and you can kind of imagine when this stuff was all new and freshly built and shiny and clean.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that in movies, you know, especially now that we have the special effects technology to sort of bring it to life. There's a couple of shots in this where you see the city and the Coliseum behind people, and it's like that was their reality. And that was their daily, they lived in the big city, and a big established city that had been around longer than any city in America, and an empire that spanned the known world, basically. And they were at the pinnacle of existence in those days. You know, they were huge.
Yeah.
But as far as the gladiators, I don't really know too much about what happened with them. I know they were considered to be sort of like celebrities, but sort of like pro wrestling. You kind of wonder,
like wrestling. Yeah, exactly. That's what it seems like.
But what you kind of wonder too, the history that we're hearing about them, that we read, that was left to us and handed down to us, is that true? You know, I mean, were the games, did they really kill people? You know, I've wondered that sometimes. I wonder if it was all fake, you know, if they put it on like a big performance. Did they really kill people in the Gladiator? You know,
I bet they did. Because I mean, slaves were considered like almost non-human, so they didn't care if slaves were killed. I mean, gladiator slaves. I do like seeing Pedro Pascal back in the ring, because you know he died horribly in Game of Thrones. Now the other thing, which I didn't even realize, Joseph Quinn. I'm like, God, that name's so familiar. It was Eddie in Stranger Things, who was like my most favorite character. He was the kind of D&D master, game master, who was so great and did the big rock and roll scene at the end. I love him. And also it's like, what? That's him? I mean, I'm blown away that he's in it. So I'm very excited that he's in it. That's very cool.
Yeah, an interesting cast. You know, we got the mighty Denzel Washington in there, which adds a lot of
Denzel looks great. Looks like he's having a great time too. He's very very cocky and fun. So we have a poster.
He's kind of like the you know, Oliver Reed was in Gladiator, and you know, he passed away during production evidently, and they had to sort of digitally fill in some of his unfilmed scenes. But
so
good casting is always fun with these.
Here's the poster. So we saw this scene actually in the trailer where he's getting the dust in his hands for the rhino. I think this is pretty cool.
Now, is his head cut off in the real poster, or I mean, is the top of his head is off out of frame? Oh, that's interesting.
I think that was kind of smart. I know there was probably some discussion about showing his face or not, and then I think by cropping it, you concentrate more on the wardrobe and the body and the scars and everything else.
Hands.
And then also I think it becomes more like an avatar for all gladiators who were in the ring fighting, in a way. Like this is about Gladiator, but it's about a lot of gladiators. And so even though we're concentrating on our main hero, he's, you know, cropped like that, we also don't know who he is, and so we'll anticipate him, you know, being a lot of different gladiators. So I think that's pretty smart. Really like it.
And it does concentrate on his hands and the sword, and the idea that he's preparing for something that evidently is about to happen to him. You know, you get this sort of suspense from this, like he's in this pose about to leap or do, you know, life and death.
Yeah, he looks really strong. We have a weapon over here on the left. My husband did this poster.
Oh, really?
The Ridley Scott poster.
Nice.
But this is a really nice poster. I'm excited to see. Again, the cast looks really great. This looks, you know, there's a little bit of dicey fire CGI, but I'm sure that they're probably going to polish that up by the time the movie comes out. But other than that, I think this looks pretty badass.
Yeah, but you know, again, the animal violence. It's not a
I
real
don't love
rhinoceros. But and evidently they did sort of slaughter a whole bunch of animals. They would, you know, go out and get exotic beasts and bring them in and then just kill them like a bullfight kind of a thing. God. And evidently people wanted to see that. I wonder, you know,
I don't like it. So I'm dreading that. So that kind of takes a little bit of fun out of it for me, because I don't want to see that. Even CGI animals, I get upset.
Right.
All right, so let us know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. And then if you have any insight into some Gladiator history or any of the actors in this or what's going on, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, we understand that it's not historically accurate and that things didn't happen in the way, you know, Ridley Scott depicts them. Ridley Scott has done a lot of historical epics, a lot of films. Evidently, very interested in it, which
Yeah.
I understand. There's a thing, I've always been fascinated with history. Actually, after school, after I got out of school, I became interested in history.
Right.
School made it boring, but once I got out, I was like, wow, this is fascinating. And I understand that feeling of wanting to see it come to life.
Yeah.
Because you think about ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, ancient Mesopotamia, all these places, and like, what was it really like there? We have depictions in textbooks and things, but I think that's part of why filmmakers love to do these kind of historical epics, because it's a fascination with history and those times and how different they were to now, and also how the same they are to now.
That's right.
In some ways. But the idea that through film you can see it, sort of, you can see what it might have been like. I like that.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's the closest we'll get to knowing is seeing great productions like Ridley Scott doing it. Then we'll probably have they're probably paying a lot of close attention to detail. So very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Great production design.
Let us know your thoughts.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.